We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I'm Suzy Prudden, and welcome to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. Yay. So I am delighted to introduce my guest to you today. Her name is Kimberly Rolfe. And we were joking around earlier, and I know what the subject is that we're going to be talking about because I know her subject. But I said to her earlier, so what are we talking about?
Talking about money.
We're talking about money. So, and it's great to talk about money because I love money.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's when I say it's important to love money, for those it's important. For some people it isn't. It's easier in life if you have it.
Absolutely.
And it's challenging if you don't.
Oh my goodness, isn't it?
And
I got something I have to share with you.
I'm ready.
I've had several conversations, especially with it being the holiday time. And I was talking to someone recently and I shared with them, I said, people don't realize it, but in this day and age, you have to have money and nobody can really afford to be broke.
Well, yes.
Do you know being broke is expensive? And the reason it's so expensive is because
I never thought about it, but having been broke, you're right.
It's expensive. It commands so much time and it commands so much energy. And honestly, I ask people at the end of the day, I don't think anybody can afford to be broke because it commands too much. It's just easier.
It's funny that you say no one can afford to be broke.
Yes.
But if you ask someone who is broke, they can't compute that. I mean, I was broke at one time. Mm-hmm. Seriously broke.
I was born broke and spent most of my life broke. So,
I was born rich. Took me 43 years to get unrich. I was born with a lot of money. I was raised with a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Then I made a lot of money. Then I lost it all.
Okay.
And I did it.
Okay.
Nobody did it to me.
Okay.
So I listen.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I have a lot of people who come to me with their story and their blame, and this is the reason, and that is the reason. No, I was the reason.
Okay.
But and then therefore I get to be the reason to be rich again.
I love that. Yeah. I get to be the reason to be rich again.
And that's what I teach.
That's awesome.
And what you teach, I need because I don't do what you do.
And I don't do what you do.
Right, so we should team up and do a workshop.
We definitely have to team up and do a workshop.
I think we're doing that.
I think so.
So tell us, okay, we're coming to the end of the year. People are spending a lot of money.
Oh, yes.
And probably going into debt.
Yes.
Which is going to cause them to
experience a lot of stress at the new year.
There you go. And what happens is it's an interesting mindset. It is it's almost like there is a shopping archetype.
Yes.
That enters into your psyche, mm-hmm. and you just want to buy.
Oh my goodness. It's so much fun though. That's why. That's why everybody wants to spend and buy and buy and buy, because it's so much fun. And you find yourself getting into this groove almost where you're just buying and shopping and you don't want to limit. You don't want to stop. You just want to buy.
That used to be my way of being until I spent all my money and ended up homeless. Uh-huh. I still shopped when I was homeless. I hadn't gotten rid of the buyer yet. I got rid of her recently. I don't buy that much. I did yesterday.
Okay.
I needed some stuff. I needed an iPad. So I went to Fry's. I got myself a tablet. Mm-hmm. I got myself a holder because I'm working on a TV show right now.
Oh, I love it.
The tablet has a teleprompter app. So my coach told me I have
perfect.
So now I have that, and I went and bought a camera for the TV show.
Very good.
And then I had to get a tripod. And then I had to get a case for the tablet. And
So you did some good shopping.
I did some great shopping and smart shopping.
It was smart shopping because you get to write off all that stuff that you bought
At the end of the year, I hadn't even thought of that.
That was very smart shopping you did.
So for those of you out there who are shoppers, be smart shoppers. You know?
Definitely.
If you have a business, this is the right time to buy stuff for your business.
Absolutely, because you get great prices, and
Yep.
then you've got just enough time before the year ends before you can start writing those things off and turning the receipts in for next year for
Right.
your taxes. So it's perfect time of the year.
Oh, good.
But for those other people out there who are not business owners and who are just out there enjoying the holiday spirit and shopping, and especially those who are looking forward to Black Friday, like I.
Explain. I've had Black Friday specials,
Yes.
but I've never gone out on Black Friday to shop.
Oh, I always do.
Tell me about it.
I'm one of those people. I'm a crazy person. I tell everybody that I'm a recovered shopaholic, but there's some things that I still enjoy, like shopping on Black Friday. And I know everybody else gets, this mindset of, oh, I wouldn't dare go out there in the crowd. I've got a plan. I've got my sales papers in my hand. I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm going to buy, and I'm up at 4 a.m. And mind you, that's the only time of the year that you would ever catch me up at 4 a.m. because I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl.
So
But
up at 4,
yes,
and when are you in the store?
I'm probably in line somewhere around 5. So as soon as they will let me in, I'm going in the store. But you know what I've learned, Suzy, especially with being a recovered shopaholic? There is a strategy and a technique for everything. And shopping is not bad. The reality is in life, we have to shop because we have to buy stuff. We need things.
Yeah.
That's a reality.
Yeah.
But it's really all in how you do it and what you do. Like, for instance, I'm shopping this year, but I'm really shopping just like you for things that I need or particular things that I think will be very useful to my family at this time. But what I've learned is it's really important to have a goal in mind, know exactly what it is that you're aiming for.
So you say you have a list.
Yes.
Where did you compile this list from?
I compile a list based on the things that my household needs.
And where do you look?
And so it's a personal list. And then I go through the papers searching for these particular
papers?
items. Oh, I look at all of them. I don't discriminate. I like them all.
It's so foreign to me. I just go and, I if I like something, I buy it. It's one of those, I always say, how much is this?
Yes.
But I buy it if I want it.
Well, the thing about me, and most people don't know this about me, is that I'm pretty strict when it comes to my budget and my spending plan. I'm very strict about that. And even if I'm out having a good time doing some serious shopping, you better know it's already in the budget. I've already accounted for it. And I think that's the place where most people get in trouble.
I agree.
They don't stop to take a moment to think about how much is actually in the budget to shop.
Yeah.
What if
I knew going out yesterday
yeah,
that
of
I
course.
had a limit. I was not going to go over $1,000.
Absolutely.
Now, I bought a tablet. I bought a camera, a camcorder.
Wow.
I bought a tripod. I bought a holder for my
Your tablet?
and
Okay.
I bought a case for my tablet.
See, that was perfect.
And I spent $844.
Oh, my
So I
goodness.
was
So
under budget.
I love being under budget.
So now I've got some money to play with.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. I had no idea we were going to talk about shopping today. But I like what you just said in terms of having a system.
Absolutely. That system is important. And, Suzy, I encourage people that what your system that includes your budget, that includes where you want to go, the items that you want to purchase, try your best to stick to the list. Now, sometimes we find things that are such a great deal that we go off the list a little
Right.
bit. But even if you go off the list, stay within budget.
Well, that's what I did because I wasn't expecting to buy a case, but then I knew I needed the case because if I dropped the tablet, then I'd break the tablet.
Yes.
So I did go off the list, but it was only a $40 part.
And you were still within budget.
I
though.
was still within budget.
Yes, and that's what's key. Well, and can I tell you that staying in budget can sometimes be a bit of a challenge, especially because we're in the day and age where everybody uses plastic. So we're always swiping something, and who's thinking about it? When we're shopping, we're having fun, right?
I actually have learned to think about it, and it's
Yes.
because of what I've been through with the different life lessons when it comes to money. But
Good.
I'm a lot more careful. Although this week I think I went crazy in a good way. I got bought some workshops, some trainings.
Good.
I bought a machine that you stand on and it wiggles. You've got to come over to my office and you can get on it.
I'm gonna have to
10
do
minutes worth an hour of exercise.
Oh my goodness, I need one of those.
And it's affordable.
I like that.
My guest on the Best of LA last week was Lori Hart.
Okay.
And she was talking about this machine. And I said, well, how much is it? She said, it's affordable. I said, what's affordable? She said, $129 a month. Of course, she didn't tell me how many months, but I knew going in that it's about $2,500.
Right.
But it's $129 a month. I can do that.
Right.
So without thinking, I did it. It was one of those, I know whenever I have $1,000 to spend, I'll spend under, and that's my 129.
Right. Very
So
good.
I just did it. I mean, it was fun. But you're a tax person.
I'm a tax person. I'm a financial person.
You're a financial person.
Yes.
Explain that.
Well, I'm a financial person in that I kick people's assets into shape. So
Tell me about that.
everything that I do basically is helping people to really stay on track where their finances are concerned. And you know what's interesting is that sometimes you will meet people who are financial people, but they don't like to manage their own budget. I am obsessed with my budget.
I'm actually obsessed with mine too.
Oh yeah. I'm so obsessed with my budget. And I do not like when something tries to take me off budget. And the funny thing is,
Give me an example.
I've been like that since I was a kid. You know those surprise expenses, those unexpected expenses,
Like
something comes
having
up.
to buy new tires all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Yeah,
Or new brakes.
Absolutely.
That happened last
right.
month.
But the good news is, for me, I've always believed in an emergency fund, so that when those surprises come up, you can pull it out of the emergency fund. But for me, it's kind of like, it bothers me because I like to plan for them. I like to be able to say, well, I bought new tires 2 years ago, so it's time to get new tires again. I like to plan it into my budget. Even though I have an emergency fund that will account for it, I like to be able to say, this month I'm going to buy new tires. So that's really important for me.
That makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And I encourage other people to do that as well. Like for the holidays, a lot of times, people forget that Christmas comes every year, and every year somebody wants to shop, right?
It's like when you're on a diet.
Right.
When I used to specialize in weight loss with my hypnosis center, and people will say, well, what do I do about Thanksgiving? I said, enjoy it.
Exactly.
It comes once a year. What? You're not going to enjoy it? Just be smart.
Right.
Don't eat the whole turkey, or eat the whole turkey but leave the stuffing. I mean,
Yes.
it's just be smart about it. That's
Absolutely.
all. What I'm doing for Thanksgiving this year, I called my son. I said, I want to do something that's unorthodox. And he said, what do you want to do? I said, let's go to with my grandsons.
Okay.
Let's go to a morning movie and then out to brunch because I want cream cheese bagels and lox. I don't want turkey. So we're going to do that.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's what you make it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
My sister's doing a big fancy family gathering and we're going to the movies.
Well, you know what? I have to tell you, Suzy, I absolutely look forward to Thanksgiving and all the food and the desserts and everything. But this is my one little issue. I get overwhelmed and I won't eat.
You don't eat it all?
I get overwhelmed by all the food and I will not sit down and make a plate. It's just too much food. So what I'll do is I'll nibble on something here and there. But to sit down and make a plate, I literally have to make myself a plate for the next day because I can't eat because of all the food that I see.
That's amazing. See, I don't particularly like all that stuff, so I don't have a problem with it, which is why I want cream cheese bagels and lox. But I don't eat that very often because it's very, very high calorie. So I thought, well, I'll do that Thanksgiving. That'll be my treat.
Oh, yes, that sounds great.
So do you work with people on financial plans so that they can start to grow their wealth?
I do. I actually spend a lot of time with individuals who are first looking to get a handle on their finances. So the clients that I work with, they are usually struggling to manage their money, and they're struggling to keep a budget or just a plan for their money. So we usually start there. That's always a good place. And you would not believe it, Suzy, but it doesn't matter how much money a person makes. Money management issues do not discriminate.
No.
No. And I have found, and honestly, my average client makes about 150 grand a year and better, because even though they're good income earners, they're still struggling to manage the money.
I had a conversation with my money coach,
Okay.
and when I was at one of his workshops, and he said, "How many of you are tired of struggling, even though you're making well over $100,000 a
yes.
year?" And I looked at that and I said, "I'm tired of struggling making over $100,000 a year." So, in the 2 months, 3 months we've been working together, we've totally restructured my business.
Wonderful.
And so he said, "Oh, you'll be making $1 million within the next 1.5 to 2 years." I went, "Okay."
But the key is to learn the appropriate strategies so that when the million comes, you're not still struggling.
Well, yeah. Well, and because I'm a lunatic when it comes to my I check my bank account every day. When it comes to
Very
that,
good.
yeah. I learned the hard way. I check it because there are little things that sneak in there.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got to pay attention. And I mean, not only should you check your bank account regularly, but you should audit your bills regularly. A lot of people just write the check without really going over their bills in details.
I'm good at that.
Good. That's so
And
important.
then you'll get a notice from something. I got a notice today, something on trademark company.
Okay.
One of my trademarks is coming due.
Okay.
Now, I have a trademark attorney, so he's not going to let anything happen to that. But this is a company that says, you got better pay this now, or,
Oh, right.
and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I don't think that Yellow Pages does
Right.
that too. This is that. Now they started to say this is not a bill. I think people complain too much. I'd get it because when you have, I pay my bills.
Yes.
I don't let anybody else pay my
Oh,
bills.
yes. And that's so important. That is so important to really pay close attention to your bills, even if you have somebody who is paying them for you. Pay
Yeah.
attention to them.
Yeah, I when they come in, I look at them, and then AT&T. For a long time, I had a monthly call with AT&T.
Okay.
I say, "Hi, this is your monthly call." And of course, to get to the right person, you have to press 18 buttons.
Oh, absolutely.
So by the time I get to the right person, I've got steam coming out of my ears.
Oh, yes.
And so I have to say, okay, I'm not mad at you. I am furious at your system.
Right.
So if I sound angry, I am. It's not personal.
Yes.
And then we go. I said, now I call every month because every month I find something that doesn't belong to me.
That's right.
On my bill.
Yes. You'll be surprised how many people don't pay attention to that, and they just write their checks and keep
Well,
going.
I didn't for a long time until I'm looking at my bill and go, wait a second, what is this about?
Yes.
Then it turns out that they've been charging me that for like 6
Oh,
months.
yeah.
And I said, well, take it off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is actually right now, this period that we're in, heading into Thanksgiving,
Yes.
heading into Christmas. This is the time when people really should make a list of what they spend
Yes. And you know what?
and where they spend it
Where they spend it. But let me just say,
and which credit card they use.
well, let me say this. If you're doing a lot of shopping during this time of the year, especially using plastic, one of the things I always encourage people to do is to do one of two things. One, along with your list, take cash with you. And I know a lot of times people are like, no, I don't want to carry all of that cash. Well, it depends on what amount. What amount are you actually shopping with? If it's not a huge amount, take the cash because cash keeps you accountable. Take the cash and leave the credit cards at home. Now, on the other hand, if you are using plastic, what I would encourage you to do is to carry a register. Even if it's a little notepad
Yes.
or a check register. The reason is you want to make sure that you're tracking the amount that you're spending. Because if you don't track it, you will easily go out of budget.
That's right.
And I mean, you will just think, oh, I haven't gotten the things that I want. I only picked up a few things. And before you know it, that budget is just completely blown.
And you've maxed out all your cards.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
those two are the best pieces of advice. I'm telling you, when I started shopping that way, it changed my whole perspective on shopping because I realized, first of all, I had to shop with a limit. Secondly, I realized that if I shop this way, it would actually keep me from blowing my budget, which I did so well. And then it prevents the regrets. You know, shopping's fun while you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But then when the when the new year starts and those bills start to roll in,
Right.
it's like, oh, what was I thinking?
What was I thinking? Well, you weren't.
You weren't.
You weren't thinking.
You absolutely weren't thinking.
Yeah.
And then you've got to spend the rest of next year trying to pay off what you spent in this 45-day period.
Yeah.
So it's just not worth it at the end of the day. So just take some time to jot it down.
I love your idea of creating a system because I run my office on systems. You can't run a business without systemizing
absolutely. I'm system driven. That's
Yeah.
how I function and operate.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And
If
you've
I
gotta
was
do-
system driven, I'd have more organization in my home. That's probably an area I need to systemize. So, it's not hard. You just got to say, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Exactly. And, sometimes it's a matter of people just not wanting to spend the time, what do I have to do that? But the thing is about a system is once you get one in place, it self-operates.
Yeah.
All you have to do is follow the rules
Yeah.
of it. And it
It's
works.
like writing, it's like writing a book.
Yes,
Okay, there's a system to writing a book.
absolutely.
And I was writing yesterday. I was having so much fun. I had a whole list of other things that I had to do. But all of a sudden, I'm having so much fun in my book that I realize if I do this now over the holidays, because our office is going to be closed,
Oh, that's great.
I will finish my book by the first week in January.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now, there's only one challenge that I have is because it's an exercise book. Now I have to get in shape to promote the book.
I understand.
So now that's why I got the camera yesterday, so
Yes.
I can document my getting in shape.
Oh, you'll do it.
Oh, I know
It'll
that.
be easy for you.
I know that too. It's just that I'm like you're a recovering shopaholic. I'm a recovering fitness expert.
A recovering fitness expert. Well, that's a new one for me.
Yes, no one ever says that. Well, I was one of the nation's foremost fitness authorities in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then I sold my business and I basically unplugged. I stopped exercising. I got overweight. I got out of shape. So I'm the perfect person to write this book because I'm now 70 and the people who are my age,
wow.
are in my shape and they're not going to do what we used to do 40 years ago.
Susie, I'm going to be like you when I grow up.
You're sweet. I had a client say she wanted to work with me. I said, somebody asked me, who do I want to be like? And I automatically said, Suzy Prudden. So I want you to coach me on being you.
Wow.
And I thought, no, I'm going to coach you on being more of you. It's
Absolutely.
and she's now in great shape. She's doing exactly what she wants to be doing. So that was fun. I want to be like you. Really? Okay.
That's awesome.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell us more about money.
Oh, money. Well, for me, I never run out of things to say about money. But while we're on the topic, a lot of people are already starting to think about the upcoming tax season. That starts actually it started a little bit late this year. It usually starts right around January 15th, 16th, but I hear it's starting a little bit late this year.
What does that mean?
I think somewhere around the 22nd or something like that of January. So we might be about a week late into tax season this year.
So that means people filing.
Yes.
In
so
January.
You can now you won't be able to file your tax return beginning January 15th, 16th. You won't be able to file until around the 22nd.
Well, I don't know how you could file anyway the 15th because you don't have your bank statement by the 15th for December.
Well, it depends on your bank because a lot of times you can go online and pull up that information. And then it depends on if you are self-employed. Most people who are self-employed can pull their information from their QuickBooks or whatever system they're using. So a lot of people file right away. You'll be surprised.
Well, I don't. I have very, very patient tax person.
Oh, that's good.
And I just love this woman because when I've lost a business and I had delinquent payroll taxes, and I mean, It was a monster,
Oh, I'm sure.
but I've learned something very, very wonderful about the IRS.
And
If you're nice to them,
they'll,
they'll be nice to you. If you get a notice and you call,
yes.
if you hide it under the desk blotter,
Oh.
you're in deep.
That's
Deep.
right.
But if you look at it and go, all the expletive, and then pick up the phone and call,
Absolutely.
they'll work with you.
They can really be very understanding in terms of they understand that you may not have the entire amount of your tax bill that they're requesting, but they will work with
They
you.
will work with you.
If you run for them, you are really getting yourself into a deeper amount of trouble.
Yep.
And you'll continue to accrue interest and penalties.
Yep.
And it's just not worth it. It's so much better to just take that
Just
time.
take it.
Just call them.
Just call them.
Even if you can't do anything, just call them and say, I can't do anything right now.
Last year in December, I have an ongoing monthly installment plan for my
Yes.
payroll taxes from my other company,
Yes.
which I wasn't able to pay. I lost that company. Thank you. It really was when they told me it was a franchise. I had to shut my doors. I went, thank you. It was a tough company to run. And so I had this humongous liability. And so I paid a certain amount every single month. And last December, I didn't have it. And I called them up
Wow.
and I said, I don't have it this month.
Yes.
And they said, we'll let it go this month. You've been regular ever since we started you on the plan.
Wow.
And
Isn't that great?
They let me have they let that month go.
Right. Yeah, they will definitely work with you. You just have to be willing to work with them and not hide from them.
Not hide.
Yes.
Not hide. And they're funny. There was one woman, this is when I had my other company and I had, my ups and downs. And I was in one of my downs. And she was so nasty. She's going to come and close my business.
Oh, no.
And I think I owed
Was
13.
that the franchise tax board? It probably wasn't the IRS.
No. It was the IRS.
Okay.
Franchise tax board is impossible.
Yeah.
Although I've gotten to become friends with a lot of them now because we're working together to handle it all. But no, they'll just take it out of your account.
Right. Yeah, they're ruthless.
They really are. So this woman was so nasty. And she's going to come and close my business. And I said, oh, that's very intelligent. You'll get 3 old computers, 3 old telephones, a bunch of files, 2 desks. That does not equal $13,000. Why don't we get together and make a plan?
Absolutely.
And that's what we did.
Very good. Well, and the other thing is, if you deal with one person that's nasty, hang up the phone and call back and talk to somebody else.
I never thought of that, but they're never nasty to me anymore
Okay.
because I get that letter, whatever letter. I got a new one, which is not correct because I've already paid it. But I'm sure that my money and the letter crossed.
Okay.
So I just have to, but the challenge is when you call, you have to be prepared to spend 4 hours waiting.
Yeah.
So since I go client to client to client to client to client every hour, I don't have that window. But this Friday, I'm closed. So the letter that's sitting on my desk that I've already paid, that's telling me I owe them the money, I can call them on Friday and just sit there on hold, play on my computer.
Right. Multitask. Just
Yeah.
Let it play while you don't have
Yeah.
anything else.
So,
Absolutely.
but it's better. They're better at. Or then one time, then sometimes you'll call and you'll talk, you'll explain the whole thing to one person. And then they'll say, "Well, I'm not the right person. You have to call this person."
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't you hate that?
Well, then I'll call that person. Oh no, you're supposed to call this person.
Oh,
Well, I
yes.
already spoke to that person.
That's
Well,
right.
that's what you're supposed to be. They don't know anything. So you just have to get patient.
Oh, yes. Well, Suzy, the other thing that I absolutely love about the end of the year, other than the shopping and, of course,
What about the receiving?
yes, that's always great. But I like to take some time to just kind of regroup and project for the new year.
That's smart.
And this is, sometimes I've seen people almost shut things down when it comes to that last month and a half of the year.
What do you mean shut it down?
Well, they stop thinking in terms of planning or strategy or even going after more business and more opportunities. And for me, sometimes it's during this year I prepare for my greatest opportunities.
Well, that's what I did this morning with my coach.
Yes.
We strategized a whole new program to start in January.
I love it. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is the perfect time of year to do it. While everything else is not all stressful, you can focus on.
Yeah, next year.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So
Yes.
we'll be right back. I'm Suzy Prudden with my guest Kimberly Rolfe on Mastermind Live. And we'll be right back. We've got some messages for you. Stay tuned.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Josh Lane and Dr. Hans Kugler of Here's to Your Health, in conjunction with A4M, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, invite you to attend the 21st Annual World Congress on Anti-Aging Medicine, December 12th through 15th at In conjunction with A4M, the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, invite you to attend the 21st Annual World Congress on Anti-Aging Medicine, December 12th through 15th at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. Check it out at worldhealth.net. That's worldhealth, one word, .net. And while you're there, sign up for the free longevity newsletter. Just look for the bouncing red ball. At worldhealth.net, also print out a page about the Las Vegas Congress and pass it along to your doctors. More than 3,500 healthcare professionals will convene at the Las Vegas Congress, where they will teach and demonstrate with hundreds of exhibitors about every anti-aging modality. Be sure to attend the World Congress on Anti-Aging Medicine, December 12th through 15th at the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas, presented by the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Visit worldhealth.net for more details. The 21st Annual Congress on Anti-Aging Medicine, proud sponsors of Here's to Your Health with Josh Lane and LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Hey everybody, it's your man Sabir Bay back on your airwaves, inviting you to join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Sabir Bay Show, discussing history, law, and hip-hop. Every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Sabir Bay Show, exclusively on latalklive.com. You also can catch us on iTunes Radio and R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch us and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, and welcome back to Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden and my guest, Kimberly Rolfe, who's a financial expert. And, you know, we should have talked about this earlier because I just got Kimberly to raise the rates. And if we had talked about this earlier, it would have been cheaper. But we were talking about your boot camp that you're starting up again in January.
Oh, yes, boot camp. Oh, Suzy, I enjoy boot camp so much. And the reason I enjoy it so much is because I love to see my clients' lives transformed in their finances. And boot camp is an opportunity to get them completely back on track.
You know, when you transform your finances, you literally transform your life.
Oh, absolutely.
I noticed that in the last couple of months because I've done very well.
Me too, Suzy.
Hopefully you have too. It's like
I have. And we talked about we got some nice raises.
Yeah.
And that's always a wonderful thing. And you know, it's funny because it's the end of the year. Most people don't think in terms of getting a raise. And we've both gotten a raise at the end.
Yeah.
And it's the last quarter in the year.
Yeah. This is my best quarter.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of people tell me it's their worst quarter. And people say, "Oh, it must be difficult for you at this time of year with
Oh,
people."
no way. I agree with you 100%. This has been my absolute best quarter this year.
Yeah, this month has been my best month so far. And that month isn't even over yet.
Oh, yes. Yes. And I'm thinking, wow, we've got another month left in this year. And you know what I've decided, Suzy? I have decided that I'm going to give myself a raise every other month.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Okay.
you're probably thinking, well, how are you going to do that?
You just write yourself a check.
Not exactly. I actually have a strategy in place because you remember you talked earlier about the strategy that you and your coach are working on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm working on a strategy for my business that's going to give me a raise every other month. And why not?
I agree.
I work hard. You work hard.
I agree.
Most people work hard to make the living that they make.
Yep.
Why not decide to give yourself a raise?
Yep.
Why not position yourself so that the income that you desire you can have?
Yep. I work with money mindset because you have to have a certain mindset.
I agree with that.
And I tell people, just like I told you, when I hear a price that someone's charging, I say, raise it. And they say, yes, but I said, raise it. I said, you can always bargain down. You can never bargain up.
Absolutely.
And you've all seen my gold phone. Well, maybe you haven't, but it's in my purse. I have a gold phone.
I love the gold phone.
And I say, the money's in the phone. Pick up
Yes.
the phone.
Pick up the phone.
People say, I don't like the phone. I said, don't go into business.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. You know, I always tell my husband, because he is a master at the phone, that man's phone rings all day long. And he is in a position right now where the more he talks on the phone, the more opportunities he creates. And I absolutely love it.
That's fabulous.
Yes, because I think he was born with a phone connected to him.
Well, I wasn't, but I am now. I mean, it's different. I come into my office at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm literally on the phone. My assistant keeps trying to create breaks for me.
Oh.
Then I keep moving them away because another client will.
But
want
you
that.
know why, Suzy? It's because you love what you do.
I do.
Yeah. And when you love what you do, it's not that hard to be on the phone.
No, and it's not that hard to be on the phone consistently from 10 until 6.
Yes.
And then I'll sneak out and grab a hard-boiled egg or something like that. I do when if I were still running my weight loss, I'm doing everything wrong, because I don't follow my rule of sitting down and eating and making sure that I just grab what I can when I
Yes.
can, and I'm losing weight right now, and because I'm focused on that, and I do have some weight loss clients who are, you do what you can do, and I tell them
Absolutely.
again, enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy Christmas. They
Yes.
come once a year.
Yes.
Enjoy Hanukkah. Comes once a
That's
year.
right. They come once a year. Why not?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the day after Thanksgiving shopping. It comes once a year, and I'm prepared for it.
Well, I like that attitude. I never heard that before. I just got a really good idea
You did.
for both of us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I got a really good idea.
I can't wait.
We'll talk about it after the show.
That sounds great.
We'll keep you in suspense, but we'll let you know. So tell me about your boot camp.
Boot camp. It's going to be starting up in this coming January. It starts up again. And usually we fill up so quickly in January. Why? Because everybody makes New Year's resolutions and everybody's ready. They're ready in January to transform their lives. And I sit down with people, many cases one-on-one, and I work out a strategy to help them to reach their financial goals. Now, I hear people oftentimes say, well, I've got a financial planner and they do that. That's not what I do. I kick your assets into shape. I make you hold yourself accountable for the things that you tell me are important to you.
That's what my coach is doing with me because I told him it was important for me. I want to go horseback riding. So every time I talk to him, he says, have you been riding yet? I said, no, but I found the teacher.
Very
So
good.
We've begun. And I also want to move to a bigger place. He said, have you started, are you moving? I said, not yet. I'm not comfortable enough yet to move.
Yes.
Or uncomfortable enough to move. But and I don't know where to go right now. So I'm just waiting that one out. But the riding starts this holiday. Not this holiday, next holiday.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's one of the things that we actually cover in boot camp. We cover a whole lot of strategy, and we cover a whole lot of strategy that enable people to meet their personal goals as well as their financial goals.
You know, because I don't think of my personal goals when it comes to my business. I think of my business goals.
Oh.
So when I was asked, what do you want? And then I said, well, have you been writing yet? And I went, it wasn't even in my head. I forgot.
What the personal are important because it's the motivator. I think it's the thing that keeps us going. And what I do is I just help people to put things into perspective. What I found is that a lot of times people don't want to deal with the financial issues.
No.
A lot of times they're in denial. But when they're ready to deal with them, they're ready to take them completely head on.
So give me an example of one of your clients. What happened to one of your clients where were they when they started the boot camp, and where are they now?
Very good. I had a client, one of my that was in my last program, and this was a couple. I work with a lot of married couples because there's always in a relationship somebody who wants to be financially responsible and somebody who doesn't want to have anything to do with it. But this particular couple could not understand, with all of the money they were making, why are we still broke? And they made really good income. I want to say about $15,000, $16,000 a month. And they couldn't understand why they were still broke. And it turns out sometimes there's something really, really simple, but because you're in the picture, you can't see.
So I call it the alien.
You're inside of the frame, you can't see the complete picture.
The alien on the face,
Yes.
I call it. Yeah.
And they couldn't see that they were making little minor mistakes, but this little minor mistake was costing them several $1,000s a month.
Wow.
And the moment I pointed it out, because what I do is I do a complete financial evaluation, and everything that I do with my clients is very confidential. So because they're totally comfortable with me, we go over everything. And as I began to evaluate everything and I came back to them with my strategy, they were in tears, both of them, because they couldn't believe that this little minor mistake that they were making was costing them a fortune every month.
Wow.
So as a result...
They didn't see it?
Nope. They did not see it. They could not see it. It was minor.
Yeah.
But to them, it was huge. And as a result, they saved about $2,800 a month just by fixing this one thing.
Wow.
One thing. And that started the journey for them. And after that, we went through a process where we looked at their goals. We looked at where their money was going. We looked at the things that were really important for them. We were able to get them out of a lot of debt. A lot of times people come to me and they are overwhelmed with debt. That's another issue. A lot of times people will come to me because their finances are just running wild. I had one client who was a chiropractor who was pulling in over 20-something thousand a month. And she could not figure out what was happening to her money. It was running wild, like little wild kids.
When I had my other company, I had to make $40,000 to $50,000 a month to break even.
Yes.
And I had 3 offices, 11 employees, and I was always this far away from,
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, December 2000 started, and we started going down. And so I kept downsizing and downsizing and downsizing. And then I couldn't pay my franchise fees, so they closed me, which was wonderful. And I opened up a little tiny office now in El Segundo and finished all the other programs.
Wow.
But when I started paying, then I started paying attention, and I started noticing charges that were coming in regularly.
Yes.
That I had thought nothing of in the past, costing me thousands.
Wow.
And I just kept, okay, we don't need that anymore. Okay, we don't
Yes.
need that anymore.
Absolutely.
Okay, we don't need that anymore. And all of a sudden, I have more money in my account than it's wonderful. My ledger says one thing and my bank says the other. The good news is my bank says not a lot.
Okay.
And my ledger says a little. So I listen to this so this doesn't go away.
Absolutely. I love it.
But you do have to pay attention.
You do. You have to pay attention. And sometimes it's just that you can't see. It's just not clear to you. And The unfortunate thing is because we're not taught how to manage money, there are things that are techniques that I know that my average client, when they walk in the door, they don't have a clue about.
Yeah.
And so just sometimes showing them some of the techniques to get their money going in the direction that they would prefer it to go in will change their lives completely.
So when you say get their money going in the direction they want it to go in, give me an example.
Oftentimes when I have clients come in, their money is it's like they're bleeding money. Bleeding money.
I've done that. I understand that.
Oh, yeah. The money, it's coming in, but it's just bleeding. They're
Right.
hemorrhaging it.
Yeah.
And what I do is I sit down with them and I say, okay, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take one step at a time. And it's so funny because when people come in to see me, they're like, I'm not going to do a budget. I don't do budgets. They don't work for me.
Okay.
And I say, that's okay. I won't put you on one. How's that?
How we'll do a spending plan.
We'll do a spending plan. I like spending plans. So oftentimes I'm starting out with my clients, working with them first to pull together a spending plan once we figure out what their vision is and what their goals are. So I work with them very closely on a regular basis. I'm usually meeting with my clients twice a week. And through boot
Wow.
I'm sorry, twice a month. Twice a month.
Do
But-
you meet individually or on the phone or both?
Both. And what's wonderful, Suzy, is within a month, and oftentimes even after that first meeting, I keep a box of tissues on my desk because usually after the first meeting, everyone's crying. Doesn't matter.
It's
male,
relief.
female. Yep. There is a relief that
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
It's like I take from my clients that stress that's on their back and I lift it off.
Yeah.
And there's that cry of relief that happens because they don't have to carry that burden of financial stress any longer.
Yeah. Financial stress is the worst stress.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I shouldn't say it's the worst stress. It is for me.
It is for a lot of people.
But people say, money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, I'll tell you,
It'll buy you peace of mind.
buys you peace of mind. And in relationships, when there are money issues, that can really create.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that causes divorce.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's one of the number one causes of divorce.
Yeah.
In fact, is money is the number one cause for divorce. So if you can begin to get some of the money challenges and issues under control, then you have more time to be happy and to like one another.
That's very nice. And it is a mindset.
It is. And the interesting thing, Suzy, I've learned is whether you have a lot or whether you have a little, if you manage what you have, even if it's just a little bit, I find that more of it comes to you.
Yes, because you're respecting it.
Yes.
So what I tell my clients when as soon as somebody says I can't afford it, I say, don't say that again.
Yes.
And they'll go, yes, but I said, nope, never again. Yes, but nope, never again. The universe listens.
Absolutely.
Say, I'll figure it out.
Yes. Because I found that what I focus on, I do well.
Me too.
Most people do.
Yeah, well,
When
so
people take the time to focus on their finances,
Yeah.
they're able to do well at it.
Yeah.
The better you manage it, the better and the more of it comes to you.
Yes.
Because when you don't know how to manage or handle what you have, why should more come?
Exactly.
And even if it does come, you'll be angry later because you knew you blew it.
Yeah. It's like the people who win the lottery.
Yes.
Don't know how to handle it.
Don't know how to handle it.
And their mindset allowed them to receive, then they've got to get training on how to manage.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I train people
You're the
on how to
trainer.
manage it. I train people on how to keep it. I train people on how to grow it.
That's great.
Absolutely.
And I train people on how to think differently about it.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so good.
I know.
Yes.
I know. That's why we're going to be doing this workshop together.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to create the systems and I'm going to create the mindset.
That's right. And the other thing that I didn't tell you, Suzy, well, my first step is always to teach people how to manage the money. When my clients finish boot camp, they usually have more money.
Now, how long is boot camp?
Boot camp is a 4 to 6 month process. So depending on what program they sign up for, it can be as short as 4 months or as long as 6 months. And oftentimes, my clients who do the 4 or even the 6-month program will re-enroll.
Yeah.
And they re-enroll because they love the results so much.
Yeah.
They love now that they have a newfound level of financial freedom. They love that they have more money available for the things that they want to do in their life. They love the control that they have. And in many cases, they're saying, Kim, I don't want to leave you because I like this. I like what's happening. And they figure if they stay with me, it's going to continue to come.
But
So
it's true. It's true.
many of my clients stay with me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because
So,
the income grows, the money continues to come.
so how can people get in touch with you?
They can call me
Well,
at
what's your number?
888-828-3332. Again, that number is 888-828-3332.
And how do they find out about the boot camp? Do you have a website that they can check
I
out?
do. They can go to krfasandfrank.org. And actually, the information is all there on the website. And for any questions you have, pick up the phone and call me.
And once again, your number?
888-828-3332.
Fabulous.
I do a lot of workshops and seminars throughout the year, Suzy. So check the website, krfs.org. Check the website because it lists the upcoming workshops and events that I have coming.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So a lot of fun, a lot of great things for the new year. People, if you're ready to get your assets kicked into shape and
love
get your
that.
finances going in the right direction for the new year, don't sit. Better call me.
I think so. And if this holiday is tight for you, if you call Kimberly and start in January, next holiday, you can do more shopping.
Absolutely. More shopping, more freedom, more money.
More freedom.
Yes.
I mean, really, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
Money is freedom.
It is.
And discipline is freedom. A lot of people, the thing is that they have no discipline around
Yes,
money.
absolutely.
And we're not trained.
Yes. We are absolutely
We're not
trained.
trained. You don't get an education in money when you're
Yes.
in school.
And I've got a lot of it.
A lot of what?
A lot of education when money is
Education,
concerned.
yeah.
A lot of education, a lot of training, and a lot of life experience that has enabled me to be able to really help people through the challenges that they're experiencing.
And one of the things that I find with a lot of my clients is that they're afraid to charge more.
Yes.
And that's why I say you can always bargain down, you can never bargain up.
Yes. I like that.
I do too.
Uh-huh.
It makes sense.
Yes.
And I'm amazingly expensive for what I do.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
I know. And I'm about to raise my rates again. And when I was talking to somebody who didn't sign up with me last week,
Okay.
and she said, I thought you'd be like $200 an hour. I said, there's a lot of hypnotists who are $200 an hour. I'm not one of them.
Right.
And I said, it's not about the hour.
Yes.
It's about the results.
Absolutely.
So I'm $850 an hour right
Wow.
now.
But they get
And-
the results.
But they get the results. And
Yes.
I have one client who called me up. She's having a really hard time. So I said, I'll give you an extra session. You've got to get out of this slump. So I did.
Yes.
And the next day she said, I just made 3 sales. I said, stop talking with me. When you run into trouble, just call me up. I'll give you a pep talk and you'll get back on track. Because that's what it's all about for me.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about for you.
Absolutely.
It's the results.
The results.
I am results oriented.
Oh, I am too. You know, I think I was born that way. I don't do things that don't produce results.
Trying to think. No, I always produce results.
Nope. I do not do things that don't produce results. If
Yeah.
there's something in me, I can't do it. Even if I engage in it for a moment, I'm not gonna stay there. I'm gonna move.
Well, that's how I do my business. It's like I am a risk taker
Yes.
and I make decisions
Oh,
very
yes.
quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it doesn't work, I make
right.
another decision. That's what I told one of my clients. She said, I can't decide. I said, choose one.
Right.
Just choose one. If it's the right thing, keep doing it. If
Yes.
it's the wrong thing, choose
Move
again.
on. Absolutely.
But get off the fence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So when I had my Positive Changes business, I was in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Very sexy address. And then we were not doing that well one year, so I opened up a satellite office in West LA, where just a couple of days a week, which worked well. So I kept it.
Okay.
So then I thought, well, why don't I try Malibu?
How'd that go?
Didn't go at all.
Okay.
After 2 months, I had 2 clients that closed it.
I don't blame you.
And so then I opened up in Venice.
Okay.
That did very well for a year. Then it stopped doing well, closed it. Opened up in the marina, did very well for a year. After a year, closed it.
Okay.
Then I tried, my sister kept saying, let's do El Segundo, let's do El Segundo. And so I thought, okay, so we advertised we were doing El Segundo for about 3 weeks. And we set a date, and we had a whole list of people that wanted it. So I found a therapist's office that I shared.
Yes.
And in 3 days made $23,000. I thought,
This is the place to be.
this is the place to be.
I love that. I
Then-
love that shift. Just recognizing when it's time to shift.
Yeah, so then we tried Hollywood.
Okay.
After 1 month, no calls, closed it.
Okay.
So, you've got to get, it's not about being right.
Yes.
It's just about doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
And if it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, change it.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Don't stay with what you know is not working.
Yeah.
It's like watching a ship sink.
Yeah, it's like a relationship.
Absolutely.
I know he'll change. Uh-huh.
He'll change when you change.
He said, no, it's not. It's
Get
not
rid
that.
of him. Move
But
on.
He doesn't really mean it. Oh, okay.
He means it.
How long have you been in this relation? 20 years. Okay. How long are you willing to stay in it? He's going to change. No, it's,
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
Recognizing when it's time to change.
Time to
move
change,
on.
yeah.
And make a decision about it. Just do it.
yeah,
Make it happen.
make it happen.
Whatever it takes.
You're my new best friend. I mean, we think so alike.
I love it.
But, okay, so you're going to do the boot camp. What else do you do?
I've got a lot of workshops coming up. I always start the year off with my financial empowerment series. And people always say, Kim, why do you continue to do that series? Because I love it. I'm so passionate about helping people in a classroom setting understand money. And I think it's the cheapest way you can see me. and start getting your
That's
money
funny.
in order.
That's funny.
But it's great because I go through an entire 8-week program that really helps begin the process for getting your finances in order.
And when does this start?
It starts in January, and I don't know the exact date, but it's usually around the 3rd week of January.
When people have their brains back.
When people have their brains back. So it's usually, I think, the 3rd or 4th week of January
Yeah.
when they have their brains back. And I have to tell you, it fills up really quickly. Usually when we advertise it, it's full within 72 hours.
And where do you do this?
I teach at downtown Los Angeles at Pace. Don't let me mess it up. So I'm going to say downtown at Pace on Wilshire Boulevard. I typically teach one every year.
Just one?
Well, one at the start of the year. This year, I will probably do one every couple of months. Jury's still out on that. So you better start with the first one in January.
Well, it also makes sense to start in January because that's when you're crazy about what you overspent last year, and it'll set you up so that you'll have a plan for the
Absolutely.
for the coming year.
It's an opportunity to get things right for the new year. Start the new year off right. Get everything on track starting in January. And it's great because it doesn't give people too much time to linger and to try and think about it. It's time. Let's get started. Just do it.
That's what I tell people. I said, when someone says, well, I have to think about it. This is when I had my weight loss center. If someone would come to me 100 pounds overweight, I have to think about it. I said, and how long have you been thinking about it already? About 10 years. I
Right.
said, you want to stop thinking and start doing something about it?
That's right.
That's right. So what I do is my sales technique
Okay.
is to sell in the moment.
I love it.
Because once you get off the phone, people get comfortable in their discomfort.
Yes.
So I say to them, you can't not sign up with me.
Absolutely.
They say, what? I said, no,
That's right.
I won't let you not sign up with me. We'll do whatever it takes so that you'll sign up with me.
Yes.
And we do.
I love it.
Yeah. Because what I do and what you do, we're very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
And yet both of us have the same attitude. We are results oriented.
Absolutely.
And we want to make a difference.
Yes.
And we do.
That's right.
So once again, your number?
888-828-3332.
So call Kimberly so she can help you get your finances, get your assets
Get your assets kicked into shape.
Get your assets kicked into shape. I'm Suzy Prudden. You've been listening to and watching Mastermind Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Okay.
I just can't wait till the day when you knock on the door. Now every time I go for the mailbox, gotta hold myself down. 'Cause I just can't wait till you write me you're coming around. I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, it's gonna feel good. All right now, it's gonna feel good.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.